Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we'll be doing a more slowly paced class focused on more of the inner and outer sides of the body, really opening up these areas of the body so that we can move more freely and get rid of any tension that might lie there. And a lot of times, what I've noticed in my own life and in my own body is when I get antsy in my body, if I feel like my muscles just need to stretch. I don't know if you've ever had that restless leg feeling at night, but side body stretches tend to do wonders for me when I'm feeling that way. So today I want you to focus really on settling into each pose that we're doing, as it is a slower paced class, so there will be longer holds. And as always, feel free to take breaks as necessary or to skip over postures that don't feel right for you today. And we'll just do our best as we move throughout this class, as always. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, always feel free to leave them in the comment section or send me a private message as well. With all that, please close your eyes and gaze at a point out in front of you or connect to your breath. Do whatever feels comfortable as a centering gesture. You can even place your palms in front of your heart. You can do that half eye open, half closed gaze that I've mentioned before. Just use this as an opportunity to turn your attention inward, to notice how you're feeling on an emotional, mental, and physical level, and even spiritual level, if you're willing to go that far. You can even lengthen your breath so that your breath is 5 to 8 counts in and 5 to 8 counts out. Using the breath as a guide to recenter, to ground and regroup. On your next inhale, take a full breath in. And on your exhale, open your mouth, let it out with a sigh. Inhale. Exhale, let it out. One more inhale. Exhale. Breathe naturally. You can either keep your eyes closed or open your eyes. Take your right hand to the left side of your head. Push your head and hand into each other, and then take your left fingertips as close to your shoulder as you can get. Push head into hand into head, and gently lean your head to your right. Lift your chin slightly. You'll feel a stretch on your left side of your neck. Lift your head back up. Lower your right hand to your right shoulder. Left hand to the right side of your head. Push head into hand into head, and lean your head slightly to the left. You'll notice that I rarely ever mirror you, so just be aware of that. So it'll look like I'm doing the opposite side a lot of times. But even if you do the other side, it's really okay because we have two sides, and you'll do the other side eventually. Lift your head back up. Take your right hand to the back of your head and then slide it over to the back left corner of your head. Lean your head just a little bit to your right, then forward so you'll feel a stretch on the back left side of your neck. Push head into hand into head. You can place your left hand on your shoulder if you like that, or rest your hand on your thigh. Then lift your head back up. Switch hands. Left hand to the back of your head, slide it over to the right corner. Lean your head slightly to the left. Feel free to place right hand on shoulder. And lean your head slightly forward and to the left while pushing head into hand, hand into head. Gently, slightly lift your chin. Then slowly lift your head back up. Lower your hand. Roll your shoulders up and back a few times. Make sure you're still breathing even breaths. Then roll forward. Then relax your shoulders back and down. Lean your head to the right. Look down. Then roll your head to the left. Roll your head forward. Look down. Head to the right. Roll your head forward. Head to the left. So these are semicircles. I personally like semicircles better than complete circles. For me, the complete circling of the neck is too much for my neck. Even it out on both sides. Then come back to head neutral. Come into child's pose on your mat. Bring your knees a little wider than your hips, big toes together, arms out in front of you. Then reach your hips back toward your heels. Place your forehead, tip of nose on the floor. If you like, instead, you can place your forearms on the floor and rest your head down, either to your hands or to a block, whatever feels best for you. And just take a few moments here and breathe into your posture, into your body. Push your hands down and forward as you reach your hips back. Walk your hands back. Lift your torso up. Bring your knees together. Lean forward, curl your toes under. Have a seat on your heels. Scoot your knees back a few inches as you squeeze your knees and ankles in. Then place your right hand on your left thigh and your left hand to your sacrum or lower back. Lift your chest, move your shoulders back, move your rib cage back toward your spine, and then turn your torso slightly to the left. Gaze beyond your left shoulder. Untwist. Switch sides, right hand to your low back, left hand to your right thigh. Move your rib cage back, tailbone forward, belly in. Twist. Maybe gaze beyond your right shoulder. Untwist. Come back to the tops of your feet. Squeeze your knees and ankles in. Do the same thing you did earlier. Right hand to left thigh, left hand to your sacrum. Tone your abdomen, twist your torso to the left. This time, walk your hands forward and to the left diagonal. Then bring your right rib cage closer to your right thigh as you bring your left side of your rib cage toward the ceiling. So you're basically leaning into your right shoulder. If you can rest your head into your right arm. Stay working here, or you can crawl your right fingers so your right hand is on top of your left hand, and then clamp your right fingers around your left finger knuckles. So your hand looks like that on the floor. Keep turning your torso to the left. Breathe into your posture. Do your best to keep squeezing your knees toward each other. Slow, steady breaths. Slowly walk your hands back in. Lengthen your spine, sit up. Right hand behind you, left hand to your right thigh. Turn your torso to the right, then walk your hands forward and to the right at the diagonal. Keep squeezing your knees and ankles in. Turn the left side of your rib cage down as you turn the right side of your rib cage up. Maybe take your shoulder down. Feel free to rest your head into your arm. Again, you can stay here or crawl your left fingers toward your right hand. Maybe stack left hand on top of right hand. Curl your left fingers under your palm and push hand into hand, shoulder toward the floor, and breathe. Slowly walk your hands back, untwist. Come up to all fours, hands and knees. Bring your knees a little bit wider than your hips. Bring your left arm up toward the ceiling. Then swing your left arm under your right arm, shoulder and ear to the floor. Revolved child's pose. Feel free to stay here or walk your right hand forward and to the left. Push your right hand down and forward. Push your left hand down and back. Move your right hip back, left hip forward. Slow, steady breaths. Walk your right hand back, untwist, come back to center. Lift your right arm up, reach your right arm under your left arm, right shoulder and ear to the floor. Stay here or walk your left hand forward and to the right. Push left hip back, right hip forward. Lengthen the left side of your body. Squeeze your shoulder blades onto your back. Walk your left hand back, untwist, downward facing dog. Make sure your hands are shoulder distance. Curl your toes under, lift your knees up. Make sure your index fingers point straight ahead and flare all of your fingers wide. Push your hands down and forward. Reach your thighs back. Allow your head to drop toward the floor. Move your rib cage toward your spine, tailbone toward your heels. Push length through both arms and legs. Even flare your toes a little bit wider. That'll help get the stretch more into your shins, ligaments on the front of your legs. Then come into sideways dog so you're spinning your right outer foot and your inner left foot to the floor, toes pointing to the left. Push through both big toe mounds and both pinky toe mounds, maybe reaching the soles of your feet to the floor. Keep your right shoulder as high as your left shoulder, but lengthen from your hips to your armpits. switch. Outer left foot, inner right foot. Push pinky toe and big toe edges down. Keep your hips high, left shoulder as high as your right shoulder. Lengthen from hips to armpits. Downward dog. Step your right foot forward, outside your right hand. Lower your left knee to the floor so you're in a low lunge. Take your forearms to the floor or keep your hands up on the floor, or you can use a block or two for extra height if you still want to take forearms down. Push your right foot down and toward your left foot, and push your left knee down and toward your right foot. Feel free to lower your head so your head is in a bowing position. You can also use a block under your forehead. Some people like that as it gives a little bit extra something to rest your head and rest your neck. Can be helpful for some. Lower your hands to the floor or lift your hands to the floor. Then heel toe your right foot more to the front midline of your mat. Walk your hands back a few inches so you can slide your left knee slightly back and lift your right toes up. Lengthen your spine on an inhale. Then on an exhale, maybe walk hands forward and fold forehead toward your knee. In this posture, Ardha Hanumanasana, you will always have the option to lower your forearms to the floor or to a block and maybe grab your foot. I'm not teaching it that way for this class, but it's always there if you like it, if you want it. Breathe into the back of your right leg. Notice where there's still tension being held onto. And even use your breath you can even visualize your breath as you breathe to basically enter into these places that feel tight. You can visualize your breath actually going into that tightness and even watch it in your mind's eye dissipating and relaxing. Walk your hands back. Bend your right knee and then turn your toes in slightly. Turn your left heel to the floor, so you'll have to pick up your left knee and lift your left toes up. You always have the option to place a blanket under your right heel if your heel generally lifts up off the floor, or just stay here. If you feel like taking your right hip closer to your right heel, walk your hands to the right. You can slide your left foot in if you need to, and then lower your hip as low as feels comfortable. Do your best to keep your heel pushing into something, whether that's the floor or a blanket. You can keep hands down or join your palms in front of your heart. Gaze at a steady point. Squeeze your left heel down and toward your left hip. Micro bend your left knee. Lower your hands. Turn your torso back to your right. Then step back to down dog. Step your left foot outside your left hand. Lower your right knee behind your hip to the floor. Stay upright or lower your forearms to the floor. Again, feel free to use props, blocks as necessary. Push your knee and foot down and toward each other from front to back and side to side. half Hanuman. Place your hands back to the floor. Heel toe your left foot to the front midline of your mat. Slide your right knee back, lift your left toes up. Feel free to bend your left knee or keep it straight. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold, heart first, head last. Maybe walk your hands out straight, maybe forearms to the floor, grab your foot. Whatever feels optimal today. Walk your hands back. Bend your left knee, turn your toes in, place your foot on the floor, walk your hands inside your left leg, turn your right heel down, right toes up, stay upright, maybe use a blanket under your heel, and lower your hips capacity toward your left foot. Feel free to stay with hands on the floor or join your palms in front of your heart. Micro bend your straight leg so that your hamstring stays safer in the stretch. Walk your hands to surround your left foot. Turn over to your left. Down dog, push back. Straighten and strengthen your legs. Reach your heels toward the floor. Rib cage toward your spine, tailbone. Down toward your heels. Walk your feet to the middle of your mat. Walk your hands to your feet. Then turn to the side of your mat. Take a wide stance, keeping your hands on the ground. And then heel toe your feet out. Line up your toes. Turn your toes in a little bit more than your heels. Then re-lengthen your spine. Push your inner thighs back as you lift your chest forward. Even lift your chin. Keep your arms straight but shoulders back so your heart melts toward the floor. Then walk your hands back again. Arms straight, shoulders back, chest toward the floor. Then bend your elbows. Push through your inner and outer feet equally and simultaneously, and you'll feel that stretch on both the inner and the outer part of your legs. Maybe. Bring more weight forward into your big toes. Push through the top of your head into the floor. Keep your inner arches of your feet lifting. Next, inhale, lengthen your spine. Walk your hands forward. Keep your spine long. Place hands on hips, shoulders back, and stand up. Take your arms wide to the side. Point your palms down. Relax your shoulders. Turn your right toes out to the right. Then lean your hips to the left, torso to the right. Tone your thighs and lift your kneecaps as you place your right hand to your shin, ankle, floor, or a block outside your right foot. Turn your torso more to the left. Push your hips slightly forward and bring your torso slightly back so everything is in line with your legs. Extend up through your left arm, down through your right arm. Move your shoulders up and back, heart toward your right foot. Your gaze, try to turn your chin more to the left, but when you turn your chin to the left, lift it slightly away from your shoulder. Take your hand down inside your right leg. and take your hands to surround your right foot. You can hop your back foot in a step, then turn your left toe sharply forward toward the left corner of your mat. Now, lift your right big toe mound off the floor. Turn to the outer edge of your back foot, so your hips will actually start to swing and lean to the left. Even though your right big toe is off the floor, try to push it toward the floor as you turn your torso slowly to the right, and you should feel a stretch in your outer right foot, ankle, and shin, maybe even in your outer right leg, outer right thigh, maybe in your hip. You can stay here or lift your right arm up. Push through both big toe mounts, even though they're off the floor. Maybe turn your head to the right, keeping your chin slightly away from your shoulder. I call this funky revolved triangle. Lower your hand. Turn your toes toward the front of your, or the long edge of your mat. Re-lengthen your spine, hands on hips, shoulders back, and stand up. Take your arms wide again, reset your feet, make sure you're in that good wide stance. Turn right toes in slightly, left toes out. Relax your shoulders. Lean your hips to the right, torso to the left. Then place your left hand on shin, ankle, or the floor outside your leg. Tone and turn your abdomen to the right. Move your torso back in line with your leg, hips slightly forward. Extend out through all limbs. Lift your chin, maybe turn your head to the right. Lower your right hand inside your left leg. Hop your right foot in a step. Turn your right toe sharply forward and to the right. Surround your foot with your hands. Then come to the outer edge of your right foot as you pick up your left big toe off the floor. Swing your hips slightly to the right. Lean into your right hand. Push through your big toes. Twist to the left. Lift your left arm and maybe gaze to your left. Untwist. Turn your feet back to the outer edge of your mat. Lengthen your spine, reset your feet so that they're evenly distanced or evenly spaced. Keep your spine long, lengthened from hips to armpits. Move your shoulders back, keep your chin lifting. Heel toe your feet together. Turn to the front of your mat, down dog. Push back. Step your right knee behind your right wrist, pigeon prep. Lower your left knee in line with your right heel and slide your left knee back. You can keep your right knee where it is or lift your right knee up, point it out to the right, push it down into the floor, and slide your left knee back more. Feel free to take your forearms to the floor. Squeeze your knees down and toward each other, front to back, side to side. Even tone your abdomen slightly. Round your spine like you're trying to do cat pose. Push your forearms forward, and you might feel an extra stretch in your left hip flexor. Place your hands back to the floor in front of your right leg. Push your tailbone down and forward as you lift your torso up. Take your right hand to the right level with your right knee or level with your right hip, depending on what feels best for your balance. Keep pushing through both of your knees. Press your tailbone forward. Maybe lift your left arm up. Slide your right hand more to the right and lean your torso to the right, all while keeping your left knee down. Do your best to square your hips forward, lift your torso, and extend through your back leg and through your left arm. Take your left elbow in front of or on top of your right knee. Lean your torso back to the left. Maybe take your left shoulder to the floor. Stay here or join your palms. Revolved pigeon. Slowly untwist by taking your right hand down, push down, lift your torso up, come back to down dog. Move slowly and mindfully. Take your left knee behind your left wrist. Point your left toes toward your right hip. Slide your right knee back. Feel free to lift your left knee, point it out, push your shin down, push it forward. Slide your right knee back more. And lower your forearms to the floor or to a block. Take a few moments here. Squeeze your knees down and toward each other from front to back and side to side. Maybe even tone your abdomen around your back, like cat pose, to get a little more stretching in your right hip flexors. Lift your torso up. As you lift your torso, press your tailbone forward. Take your left hand to the left, either level with your knee or your hip or somewhere in between. Lean into your left hip. Keep your right knee on the floor. Lift your right arm up. Lean a little to the left. Crescent in your right side. Then take your right elbow to your left knee or in front of your knee. Keep the twist. Lean toward your right shoulder. Maybe take right shoulder down to the floor. Maybe join your palms. Feel free to gaze to the left. Slow, steady breathing. Keep your gaze steady. Slower classes have a tendency to bring up lots of thoughts, to start racing in the mind or bringing out the monkey mind more than usual. It's totally normal, and it's a good practice to just observe what's happening, even if it's uncomfortable. Untwist. Slowly push back up into downward facing dog. Gatekeeper, Parigasana. Take your knees to the floor. We're doing this variation with or without a block. So if you have a block handy, grab it. Now come to the left side of your mat, facing the side of your mat. Take your right foot to the right and point your toes up for this variation. Place your block pretty much right in front of your knee and inside your knee. Then place your hand to the block. If that's too far away, you can go in more toward your groin, halfway between your groin and your knee. So wherever feels appropriate for you. Then place your left hand on your left hip. You can even use your hand at the front of your rib cage to guide your torso to twist to the left. Stay like that, or lift your left arm straight up, point your palm to the right, push down through your left knee, and extend out through your left hip, through your left arm, and push through your right arm and push your right heel down as you squeeze your right heel toward your left knee. Press your tailbone slightly forward. Place your left hand on your left hip. Maybe take your block to a lower setting. Slide your block maybe closer to your right foot. Keep the twist, push down through your left knee, lengthen through your torso. Lift your left arm, reach up, then reach toward your right foot. Lift back up. One more, with or without the block. You can also remove the block or keep it where it was. This time point your toes, turn them in, place your whole foot on the floor. Take your hand to the floor or block anywhere that feels best for you. Guide your torso to twist to the left, reach your left arm up, and reach to the right. Breathe here, push, knee toward the floor, extend arm out. Feel free to stay here or place the back of your hand on the back of your, or on the top of your right ankle. Give up some of your side bend to join your palms on your right ankle. Then turn your torso more to the left. This is a very claustrophobic, unsatisfying posture, so if you're feeling that way, it's totally normal. Then stand up. Plus, we've been in this position for a while now. Lower your knee. Heel toe or slide to the right. If you need to shake out your left leg, you can shake out your left leg. Then set up with your left leg out to the left. Point your toes up first. Place your block on this high setting right inside your knee. From here, place your right hand on your rib cage or on your right hip. Guide your torso to turn to the right. Place your hand on your block. Keep the twist. Lift your right arm up. Point your palm toward your left foot and reach out through your right side. Push down through your right knee. Then push your left heel down and toward you. Lift back up. Slide your block a little bit more forward if you can, and take it to a little bit lower of a setting. Then place your hand back to the block. Help your torso twist to the right. Stay long in your spine. Lift your right arm up. Point your palm toward your left foot and reach. Push through your right knee. Extend through your right arm and pull your left heel toward your left hip. Lift back up. Feel free to remove your block entirely or keep using it. Place your left foot to the floor. Turn your toes in and point your toes. Then place your left hand on the floor inside your left leg. Twist your torso to the right. Help guide your torso to open. Reach your right arm up. Point your palm toward your left foot and reach toward your left foot. Feel free to stay working here or push through your legs. Place your hand on your left foot. Maybe turn the back of your hand to your shin. Lean more to the left. Undo some of the opening to lower your hand to your hand. Then reopen as much as you can to twist to the right. This is the classical form of this pose, not the most favorite form. Stand up. Lower your knee next to your knee. Downward facing dog. Stretch your spine. Twisted monkey lunge. Step your right foot outside your right hand. Lower your left knee to the floor. Turn your right toes out slightly. Take your left hand slightly forward until the left fingers point out. Push your foot and knee down and toward each other as you twist to the right. Stay here, lift your right arm, reach back, and grab the outer edge of your foot with your hand. Pull heel and hip toward each other. Keep the twist, lift your torso, and maybe curl back. Keep your left shoulder lifting away from your ear, moving back and toward your hip. Down dog. Left foot outside your left hand. Turn your toes out, right knee to the floor. Walk your right hand forward to the right, fingers point out. Left hand to left thigh, twist to the left. Lift your chest, move your shoulders back, stay here, reach your left arm up, reach back and grab your foot. Pull heel and outer hip toward each other. Keep the twist, lift through your chest, move your shoulders back and curl back. Down dog, push back. Step your right foot behind your left hand, then slide it out to the left. Take your inner back foot to the floor, push through your right big toe mound. It's a very similar shape to that funky revolved triangle. Then slide your left foot back, right foot to the left to take your hips down. Fallen sage. Pull your hands down and back to roll more toward the outer edge of your right hip, and either take your chest to the floor inside your hands or place your forearms on the floor, less intense. Push length through both legs. Squeeze your shoulder blades toward each other and extend your torso out of your hips. Push your hands down, feet down, lift your hips up, down dog. Second side, place your left foot behind your right hand, slide your left foot to the right, push through your big toe mound, take the inner edge of your right foot down, keep your spine long as you slide your left leg to the right and your right leg back. Then pull yourself forward, either take your chest to the floor or your forearms to the floor. Stay long in your torso as you lower down. Push length through both legs. Downward facing dog. Push your hands, feet down, lift your hips up, press back. Bring your feet together, reach your heels toward the floor, bend your knees and take your knees as close to your toes as you can. Walk your hands back, have a seat on your heels. Vajrasana variation, take your hands in front of you, interlace your fingers, backs of hands on top of your head, clamp fingers closed and pull your elbows apart. Keep squeezing shoulder blades on your back as you push your arms longer, maybe straight. Tone and turn your abdomen to the left. Twist. Turn forward. Turn to the right. Wringing out your spine. Squeeze your knees in. Turn forward, stretch up. Lower your hands. Swing your legs out in front of you. I'm going to turn so that you can see my legs easier. So I'm going to be slightly diagonal. Fold your right foot in so your right heel is close to your right hip. Lean to your right and then slide your left thigh flush with your right toes and then your left heel as close to your left hip as you can. So you might stay there, or you might even be able to widen your knees further apart. And you're aiming towards getting the tops of your feet on the floor. This is not Vamadevasana, but rather more of a Vajrasana variation. You do want to squeeze your legs toward each other and your heels into your legs. Then take your left hand, arm, and then wrap it behind you so that your hand is as close as it can get to your right rib cage. Back of hand on your rib cage. Then take your right hand to the left, grab your thigh, or anywhere that you can grab that's easier. Now move both shoulders back and lengthen through your spine. Then turn your torso to the left as you gaze beyond your left shoulder. Untwist. Pull your left leg in. Switch. So your left heel is in and your right heel is back. You can go as wide as feels comfortable. If you feel a pain in your knee with your legs wider, you want to actually take your legs in closer. So just be aware of that. Then lengthen your spine. Take your right hand behind you. Try to get your back of your hand as close to the left side of your rib cage as you can. Lengthen your spine. Twist. Right hand to right thigh. Keep the twist. Lengthen through your spine. Maybe gaze beyond your right shoulder. Untwist. Now take both of your legs straight out in front of you. Flare your toes, tone your thighs, and lift your kneecaps. Dandasana legs. Then lean back. Take your left shin out in front of you on the floor. Again, I'm not mirroring you. Then take your right shin on top of your left shin, and then using your hip, turn your right knee toward the floor. At this point, your knee might be way up high, and in order to help your leg and your hip relax, you can place a block, wedge it underneath your thigh so that you have something to push your leg into, as so. If you can take your knee close to or all the way to your ankle, go ahead and do that. Now push through both big toe mounds, lift your ankles away from the floor, and place your hands into your feet. Lean forward, keep your spine long, stop anywhere along the way, maybe take your chest to your shins or as close as you can get. Keep your feet activated and maybe let go of your feet and walk your hands forward. Agni Stambhasana. Keep clamping heels toward your hips, lifting your ankles away from the floor. And don't forget to breathe. Next inhale, lengthen your spine. Slowly sit back up. Switch your legs so your right shin is on bottom or whichever side you didn't do. Again, you can place the block underneath your left thigh so you have it wedged underneath you. Or lower your knee to your ankle. Clamp your heels toward your hips, push through your big toe mounds, lengthen your spine, place hands into feet, push feet and hands into each other, reach your torso forward, keep your spine long, and fold as far as feels best. Maybe walk your hands forward. Walk your hands back. Slowly sit back up. Extend your legs forward. Straighten your legs, tone your thighs, lift your kneecaps. All right, the next pose is half cow face pose. So pull your right heel toward your right hip, lean back a little bit, and then slide your right heel across your left thigh toward your left hip. Now, similar, you can use a blanket or a block under your right thigh so that you have something to push into your thigh and thigh to push into, or you can use your arms wrapped around your legs for stability here. Make sure you're on your sitting bones. If you can, turn your right outer hip down so your knee points forward. Very similar action as Agni Stambhasana. And do your best to stack your knees. If you've got the knee stack, lengthen your spine. I like to use the hand where the foot is, the hand on the side of the foot that's on that side, to hold the foot into place. And it just helps kind of keep it compact and tight. But do squeeze your shin into your outer left thigh and you'll get an IT band massage. Keep your spine long, stay upright, or you can start to fold forward. If you have your hands wrapped around your leg, you can pull your leg toward you instead of taking your torso toward your leg. Now try to keep your right shin squeezed in tightly. Maybe let go with your hand and grab shin, ankle, or foot with both hands on your left leg. Stay working here. Widen your elbows more to the sides as you take your forehead toward your knees. Then squeeze your elbows in, push foot into hands, hands into foot. You've got a nice squeezing action that's going on in your entire left thigh, which may or may not feel as nice as I'm suggesting, but it's really, really good for tension that might be in your quad or in your IT band area. This can be a great relief if you have restless legs and things like that. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Slowly sit back up. Extend your right leg straight. Flare your toes, tone your thigh, lift your kneecap. Totally normal to have tingling sensation in your foot. Take your left knee in, pull your heel toward your hip, then slide it over to your right. Again, you get to choose. You can interlace your arms or your fingers around your left shin. Just stay there. Or use your left outer hip, turn it down so your knee points forward. Make sure you're on your sitting bones. Clamp your left heel in. Try to get your knees stacked. Maybe use your right hand on the floor in front of your left ankle at first to help hold it into place. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Reach your chest forward and fold. Keep squeezing heel into hip. Then shin or knee toward your knee. Maybe grab your shin, ankle, or foot with both hands as long as you can keep your leg squeezing in. If you can't keep your leg squeezing in, I like to use my right elbow on this side to help squeeze my shin in, and it does wonders. Maybe take forehead toward your knees. Another name for this pose that Darren Rhodes, the yoga studio owner at Yoga Oasis, says it's holy cow pose, because holy cow, it's intense. Next inhale, lengthen your spine, slowly sit up, and kick your left leg forward, flare your toes, tone your thighs, lift your kneecaps. Shake out your legs. If it feels comfortable, you can even use your hands to wiggle around your thighs. Sometimes that feels really nice. All right, Janu Shirshasana. Take your right knee to the right. Make sure your sitting bones are even on the ground. Squeeze your legs toward each other, then turn your torso toward your left leg. Keep your spine long, then reach your torso forward. Grab shin, ankle, or foot with your right hand. Push foot into hand, hand into foot. Maybe keep your left hand off to the left to help turn your torso to the floor. But if you can keep that as you fold forward, maybe grab the outer edge of your foot with your left hand. Forehead toward your knee. Lengthen on both sides of your body, reaching your torso out of your hips and your hips away from your torso. Even reaching armpits and hips away from each other here. You can even use your foot pushing into your hands if you've got your foot to help extend yourself more and create more length that way. From here, we're entering this next pose in a slightly different way than usual to help prepare you for a pose in a little bit. Take your right arm to the right, lengthen your spine, and then bring your torso inside your left leg. Take your left arm inside your left leg and push arm into leg, leg into arm. Point your left palm up. Now, go anywhere along the way and stop and hold, or follow along. Lean to your left, bringing more weight into your left hip, and take your right hand on your right hip. Then turn your torso as sideways as possible as you can. Feel free to stay here, or take your right arm up, point your palm toward your left foot, and if you can grab your foot, grab your foot. Now stay like that, or you can come down a little bit closer to the floor, torso down, do the same thing here. Take your arm inside your leg. Now grab onto your outer foot with your right hand, inner foot with your left hand. Bring your head underneath your right arm. Now you're still turning forward here. Stay here or slide your left elbow slightly to the right. Now lean into your left leg and then turn your torso to the right as you push through your right shin. Maybe come all the way sideways. Maybe, you never know. Sometimes a different entry just does wonders for people, whereas they've maybe never gotten it before. In order to come out, turn your torso back down, let go, and sit up. Hope that went well. Extend your right leg forward. Take your left knee to the left. Make sure your sitting bones are even. Lengthen your spine, turn toward your right leg, and fold forward. Grab shin, ankle, or foot with your left hand. Maybe take right hand to the right, at least to start. Then forehead to knee. If you can stay torso facing the floor, maybe grab the outer edge of your foot with your right hand. Even in this pose, you create activation by pushing your left shin, the knee that's bent, push that left shin down into the floor. You can use that to help lengthen out of your spine, out of your hips. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Sit up slightly. Take your right arm inside your right leg, staying up a little bit in this first one. Point your palm up. Turn your torso to the left. Lean into your right hip. Lift your left arm, point your palm toward your right foot, and extend your arm toward your foot. If you can grab your foot there, go ahead and do that. Then come back out. Take your torso a little closer to the floor. And then your shoulder more inside your right knee. Point your palm up. Now from here, grab your foot before you turn open. Left hand to outer edge. Right hand to inner edge. Then slide your right elbow forward. Torso inside your leg. Tuck your head underneath your left arm. Stay here or lean into your right hip. Push through your left shin to turn your torso more sideways. Untwist. Slowly come out and sit back up. Extend your left leg forward. We'll do a reverse table real quick just to relieve your low back if you're feeling a little weird from all the forward folds. Take your hands a little bit wider than your shoulders and a little behind your hips. Fingers out. Move your shoulders back. Lift up through your chest. Push your feet down. Lift your hips up. Press your tailbone high. Push hands down and apart. and lower down. Take your legs forward. Okay, so I'm recommending you sit on a blanket or a block for these next postures, as it can help not make your low back feel so wonky in these postures. Even me as a seasoned yoga practitioner, I still like to use props in certain variations because I know that if I don't, I might hurt myself. I might tweak my low back and I don't want to do that. So props are great no matter how far along you are in the practice, no matter how advanced you are. So that's my pep talk. All right, so fold your left leg in like you're doing Janu Shirshasana, then pull your right heel toward your hip and grab your right foot from the inner and outer edge. Lean back, lift your lower back in and up, stay here or take your shin parallel to the floor or straighten your leg or anywhere along the way. Push, foot into hands, hands into foot, and breathe here. This is called Heron Pose, and it's the preparatory pose for compass pose. This is a lot like when we transitioned from Janu Shirshasana to Parivrtta Janu Shirshasana. It's a very similar action. From here, keep hold of your big toe edge of your foot with your left hand, but take your right arm inside your right leg and then grab onto the inner edge of your foot like you would in Parivrtta Janu Shirshasana. So, from there, you grab the outer edge of your foot with your left hand and then twist your torso to the left. Now, this is not the end-all pose. This is just a prep for what we're going to do here in a little bit. Turn back forward, bend your knee, and lower your foot. Extend your leg forward. Extend your left leg forward. Pull your right knee in. Pull your left knee in. Grab your foot, inner and outer edge. Lean back. Maybe extend left leg to or towards straight. Keep your spine long. Push foot into hands, hands into foot. You can stay here or keep hold of your big toe edge with your right hand as you flip your left arm inside your left leg, palm pointing up. Grab onto the foot with your palm pointing up. Then take your right hand to the other side of your foot. Grab on. Just turn your torso, twisting to the right. Try to tuck your head under your right arm. And slowly come out. Kick your leg forward. Other leg forward. Lift your lower back in and up. All right. Bend both of your knees. Take your left leg in like Janu Shirshasana. Then grab your right leg so your shin is parallel to the floor like baby cradle. You can hold your foot and your knee with your arms or with your hands, depending on what feels better for your hip. Then you can rock side to side just to make sure your sitting bones are even on the floor. Then try to take your shin more parallel to the floor by pushing your heel up and into your left arm. Use your arms to maybe pull your shin in a little closer. Remember to keep lifting into your lower back rather than over rounding in your lower back. Let go. Kick your leg forward. Other leg forward. Pull your right knee in into the right. Pull your left knee in. Baby cradle. Turn your shin more parallel to the floor. Grab your foot and your knee with your hands or your elbows. Push, foot into arm, arm into foot, and then kick your heel up and into your arm to take your shin more parallel. And take some slow, steady, deep breaths here. Let go of your leg. Extend your leg forward. All right. So, This next one is compass pose, and it involves a lot of that twisting action. I'm going to turn and face you, and again, I am not mirroring. You want to fold your left knee so your left heel is in. You're going to grab onto your right foot from the inner and outer edge, go anywhere along the way and hold. Lean back, lift your right shin parallel to the floor, then pick up your right hip and move it out. Maybe take your right arm under your right leg. Now we haven't done arm under leg yet in class today, so feel free to just hold on here, move your shoulder back, lift up through your chest and hold. Totally fine, stay there. Or take your left hand, flip it over to the top of your right foot and grab the outer edge. Take your right arm to the right, move your shoulder into your leg, then lean to the right and place your hand on the floor. From here, tuck your head underneath your arm, move your shoulders back, turn your inner right thigh toward the right as you kick your leg towards straight, and turn your torso to the left. Lift your chest. This is not a very easy pose, so if you're having trouble, that's okay. It's a big side stretch. Bend your knee, untuck your head very, very slowly, and come out. Awesome. Kick your leg straight. And pull your right knee in to the right. Pull your left leg in. Grab your foot from the inner and outer edge. Lean back. Take your shin more parallel to the floor. Lift your left hip and open it. Pull your knee back. Stay here. Take your left arm under your shoulder. Get yourself as far under as you can. Take your left arm take your hand to your outer shin, right hand on top of foot to grab outer edge. Then take your left arm to the left. Lean into your left hand. Push down through your hips. Tuck your head underneath you. Twist your torso to the right as you kick your left leg towards straight. Feel free to stop anywhere along the way. Each side is different. Untwist. Slowly come out and extend your legs straight. Lengthen your lower back in and up. Breathe here for a couple of breaths. Maybe take your hands behind you. All right. Take your legs straight out in front of you. Lengthen your spine. Feel free to come off of your prop if you want to. Fold forward. Feel free to bend your knees or straighten your legs as long as rib cage and thighs touch. Widen elbows to the sides. Face toward your shins. Paschimottanasana. Push your heels down and apart and down and toward your hips. Flare your toes. If your legs are straight, tone your thighs and lift your kneecaps. Next inhale, lengthen your spine. Slowly sit back up. Lie down on your back. Take your feet as wide as your mat. Then take your arms out to the side like a sorrow cactus and windshield wiper your legs side to side a few times. You can go as slow as you'd like, rolling over your outer hips. Sometimes this can be a relief after doing postures like compass and heron, those seated leg lifting postures. Then come back to center. Take your feet hip distance, point your toes straight ahead. Your choice to do bridge pose either on a block or just do regular bridge pose. If you're doing it on a block, take your block either to the medium or tall setting, whichever one feels better for you. Set up for bridge pose. Walk your shoulders in. Head, shoulders, feet pushing down. Lift your hips up. Feel free to grab your hands underneath you. Walk your shoulders in a little bit more deeply. or just grab that block and place it underneath your bottom. I like doing the supported bridge after postures that like we just did, because I feel like when I do supported bridge after those, it helps to reset my sacrum and my pelvis if something feels a little wonky after those. It's very common to have a little low back issue because it's very difficult to torque the body in that way for a lot of people. So postures like this can be a nice counterbalance for those. Several more breaths here. If you're up in regular bridge, you can come down at any time and rest knees together, feet wide. Push your feet down, lift your hips up, take your block out from underneath you, and lower your hips. You can windshield wiper again a couple times. Then take your feet as wide as your mat. Take your arms out like a swirl cactus. Scoot your hips slightly to the right and let your knees fall to the left. Stay working here. Place the sole of your left foot onto the top of your right thigh and push thigh into foot, foot into thigh, so your knee extends toward that wall. Stay here, hold on to your right wrist and pull up toward the opposite wall. Dorje. Let go of your wrist, unhook your foot, hips back to center. Let your hips scoot a little to the left, knees to the right. Stay here or place the sole of your right foot to the top of your left thigh. Push foot into leg, leg into foot. Grab onto your left wrist and pull up, reaching leg and arm in opposite directions. For me, these types of classes are the most difficult because they require the most focus and the most steadiness of mind. And for a lot of people, that is not easy, especially when there's chaos in the world or in our lives. It can be hard to do more steady, focused work that is slower in nature. Unhook, come back to center. And even though it was slower, it's definitely not easy. So from here, bring your legs together, then extend your legs straight. And you want to take your left knee toward your torso, then grab your left ankle with your left hand, and then place your leg like you're placing it up in a tree pose on your right thigh, and push thigh into foot, foot into thigh. Reach through your right heel and big toe mound as if you were standing on your leg. Then take your hands either in front of your chest or reach your arms straight up for reclined tree. I like reclined tree because you can actually really focus on lengthening here out of the hip flexors, whereas standing up there's more gravity. So when you're lying down, you have more ability to focus your energy on the torso area because there's not that weight pushing into it. So you want to extend your hips and your armpits away from each other, and the front sides and backs of your rib cage away from each other, or away from your hips. Take your left hand outside your left thigh and help your left leg lift up. Turn your left toes under your right knee and then twist your lower half to the right for supine twist. You can take your left arm to the left like a cactus or an airplane. Push hand in a leg, leg in a hand, and extend your left hip away from your armpit. Untwist, hips to center. Extend your left leg straight. Pull your right knee in. Grab your right ankle with your right hand and place your right foot like you're putting it into tree pose. Push foot into leg, leg into foot. Palms either in front of your heart or extend your arms above your head. Reach your upper half of your body and lower half of a body away from each other. Reach through your left heel and big toe mound. Lower your hands. Take your right hand to your outer right thigh. Use your hand to help lift your leg up. Turn your right toes under your left knee. Then twist your lower half to the left. Take your right arm to the right. Push leg into hand, hand into leg. Reach your right hip away from your shoulder. Untwist. Hips back to center. This time pull your legs in from inside your legs. Grab outside your feet. Happy baby. Push feet up into your hands. Pull your hands down into your feet. Feel free to rock side to side, massage your back. If you haven't already, begin to slow your breathing rate to a more extremely slow level. Doing your best to do 5 to 8 counts in, 5 to 8 counts out. You can slide your ankles down to your sitting bones, widen your knees out to the side, push hands into feet, feet into hands. Then relax your legs, keeping your legs up with your hands. And use your arms to pull your legs back in. Wrap arms around your legs and as tight of a ball as you like, grabbing either fingers, wrists, maybe going all the way up to elbows. Squeeze arms into legs, leg into arm. Maybe keep rocking side to side or circling on your back. If you circle one way, also circle the other way for evenness and balance. Shavasana. Rest on your back, belly, your side, or in any position that brings you the most comfort. Maybe take legs up the wall or elevated on a chair or a couch or a bed. And just allow yourself to settle here for 5 to 7 minutes. Maybe this is the one time of day that you get to meditate or to just be with yourself fully and completely. Allow yourself this space to reflect without judgment, but with curiosity, compassion, and kindness for yourself, so that you may go into your day and into your life and be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. We call this practice because it's practice for how we will behave in the world, just as we behave on our mat. Our mat and our practice can often be a microcosm for our lives. Enjoy yourself here and enjoy the rest of your day.